Before your heart stops beating, something else can quietly disappear. Your curiosity can fade. Your courage can become smaller. Your dreams can be replaced by routine. You can wake up every morning, follow the same habits, and go to bed feeling as though nothing truly changed. That is one of the greatest losses a person can experience, because it happens while life is still moving forward. This audiobook is an invitation to choose a different path. It is not about chasing perfection or becoming someone you are not. It is about becoming fully present in your own life, making better choices one day at a time, and refusing to let comfort decide your future. Small decisions may seem unimportant, but they shape your character, your relationships, and the direction of your life. Throughout this journey, you will discover practical ways to build discipline, face difficult moments with honesty, protect your time, strengthen your mind, create meaningful relationships, continue learning, and develop habits that make you dependable in every area of life. You will also learn why lasting change does not come from one big moment. It comes from consistent actions repeated every single day. As you listen, do not simply agree with the ideas. Pause and think about how each lesson applies to your own life. Choose one action, practice it, and allow it to become part of who you are. Your life is happening now. There is still time to grow, still time to change, and still time to become the person you know you are capable of becoming. The decision begins today. Chapter 1. Choose growth every day and refuse passive living. Most people do not fail all at once. They do not wake up one morning and suddenly lose their future. It happens slowly, a little delay here, a little excuse there, a promise made and broken in private, a dream pushed aside because the day felt too hard, a strong desire replaced by comfort. Over time, a life can become quiet in the wrong way. The outside may still look normal. The body keeps moving. The phone keeps ringing. The routine continues, yet inside there is less fire than before, less courage, less hunger, less honesty. That is what it means to die before death. It is not about the body. It is about a life that stops growing while there is still time to grow. A person can be alive and still live as if the future is already closed. They can stop learning, stop trying, stop paying attention to the shape of their own character. They can settle into habits that make each day smaller than the one before. They can become passive. Passive living feels safe at first because it asks for little. It asks for no hard decisions. It asks for no deep change. It asks only that you keep moving in circles and call that peace. But peace is not the same as surrender. Calm is not the same as drift. Rest is not the same as giving up on your own life. Choose growth every day and the meaning of your life begins to change. Growth is not a dramatic event. It is not one huge moment that fixes everything. Growth is a decision made again and again in ordinary time. It is how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. It is what you do when the alarm rings and your mind wants comfort. It is the attitude you bring to disappointment. It is the quality of your effort when the result is not guaranteed. It is the choice to remain awake inside your own life. There is a hard truth that strong people learn early. Time does not wait for clarity. Life does not pause while you decide whether to become serious. Every day spent in delay shapes your character. Every day spent in avoidance teaches your mind to fear effort. Every day spent consuming without creating weakens your sense of purpose. If you do not choose growth, then something else will choose for you. Comfort will choose, habit will choose, fear will choose, other people's opinions will choose. The path will still form. It will simply be formed without your intention. A life of growth begins with honesty. Not the kind of honesty that performs for others. The kind that stands still in a quiet room and tells the truth without decoration. Where am I wasting my time? What have I been avoiding? What part of my life has become lazy? What do I know I should change but keep postponing? These questions can be uncomfortable because they remove excuses. They bring the hidden things into the light. But only what is seen can be changed. A person who refuses to look closely at their own life will keep repeating the same weak patterns and calling them fate. Growth requires courage because it often begins with disappointment. You have to admit that some of your habits are not helping you. You have to admit that some of your excuses are polished lies. You have to admit that you are capable of more than you have been giving. That admission can sting. It can feel like standing in front of a mirror after a long season of neglect. Yet that discomfort is useful. It is the first clean pain of awakening. It tells you that your conscience is still alive. It tells you that your better self has not disappeared. It is still there waiting for your attention. Passive living is seductive because it offers constant relief. Scroll a little longer. Sleep a little later. Put off the difficult conversation. Avoid the task that would test your discipline. Choose the easy meal. Choose the easy answer. Choose the familiar path. In small doses, these choices feel harmless. In large doses, they quietly weaken the spirit. The person begins to rely on comfort for emotional stability. But comfort cannot build strength. Comfort can only borrow strength that was created earlier by effort. If you never train your mind to face difficulty, then difficulty will manage you. A stoic life begins with control over what is within reach. You may not control events. You may not control the timing of loss. You may not control the opinions of others. You may not control every result. But you do control your response. You control whether you tell the truth or hide from it. You control whether you act or delay. You control whether you meet a hard morning with discipline or complaint. You control whether you end the day with regret or with a clear conscience. That is not small power. That is real power. The entire shape of a life can change when a person learns to use that power well. One of the simplest ways to choose growth is to make the day meaningful before the day begins to pull you in every direction. Wake up and decide who you are going to be today, not in a grand speech, in a quiet commitment. Today I will not waste my energy on nonsense. Today I will do one difficult thing that improves my life. Today I will keep my word to myself. Today I will think before I react. Today I will learn something useful. Today I will move my life forward in one real way. That decision sets a direction. It may not make the day easy. It will make the day useful. The biggest mistake many people make is waiting for motivation to act like a rescue plan. Motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls. It comes and goes. Some days it is strong. Some days it is absent. If your growth depends on feeling inspired, then your life will stay unstable. Discipline is better. Discipline does not ask whether you feel ready. It asks whether the work matters. It asks whether your future deserves your effort. It asks whether you are willing to be a person who can be trusted by their own word. Start small. Growth does not require a perfect beginning. It requires a real one. Read a few pages every day. Walk when your body wants to sit. Write down your thoughts before they drift away. Clean one area that has been neglected. Finish one task that you have been avoiding. Speak more honestly. Eat more carefully. Sleep with more intention. These actions may seem simple, but simple actions repeated with consistency can rebuild a life. A person does not become strong by admiring strength. A person becomes strong by practicing strong habits in private. There is dignity in small effort. A clean room can clear the mind. A prepared meal can reduce chaos. A short morning routine can reduce confusion. A 10-minute review of your goals can restore focus. A few minutes of silence can calm a restless heart. Do not underestimate the power of these quiet acts. They remind you that your life is not something happening to you. It is something you are shaping. That awareness creates dignity. It also creates responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden when it becomes the way you protect your future. Growth also means learning to tolerate discomfort without making it dramatic. Not every hard moment is a disaster. Not every challenge is a signal to quit. Some discomfort is simply the price of becoming better. The first day of exercise hurts more than the 10th. The first honest conversation may feel awkward. The first attempt at a new skill may look clumsy. The beginning is often messy. That does not mean it is wrong. It means you are entering territory that can change you. Stay there long enough and the discomfort starts to turn into confidence. Many people live reactively. They wake up and respond to whatever appears first. Messages. notifications, demands, complaints, noise. Then they call the day busy and wonder why nothing important was done. A reactive life makes growth almost impossible because attention is always being borrowed by the urgent and the meaningless. A better life requires intentional attention. Guard your focus. Decide what deserves your mental energy. Choose what enters your mind. Choose what earns your reaction. A person who does not protect attention will slowly lose direction. You do not need to know everything to begin growing. You do not need a perfect plan. You do not need full confidence. You need enough honesty to admit that your life can be better and enough courage to act on that truth. A wiser life is built one decision at a time, one refusal, one correction, one disciplined morning, one unfinished habit broken, one new standard established. This is how character changes. Not through fantasy, through repeated action. Think about the habits that keep a person stuck. Sleeping too much, thinking too little, complaining others. Avoiding responsibility. Consume entertainment without creating anything useful. Keeping company with people who feed laziness. These habits do not always look dangerous at first. They can feel ordinary, that is the problem. A life can be weakened by ordinary neglect. The person does not see the damage because the damage is gradual. But gradual damage still matters. It becomes the foundation of the future. That is why daily growth matters so much. It protects you from becoming your own limitation. A disciplined person is not someone who never struggles. A disciplined person is someone who does not surrender to every struggle. There is a difference. Struggle is part of life. The point is not to remove all difficulty. The point is to become the kind of person who remains steady inside difficulty. When the mood changes, you do not collapse. When the task feels tedious, you do not disappear. When results take time, you do not abandon the process. That steadiness is one of the most valuable traits a human being can develop. The mind must be trained to respect truth over comfort. Comfort tells you to postpone. Truth tells you to begin. Comfort tells you that you are too tired to try. Truth tells you that you are tired because your life needs structure. Comfort tells you to wait for the right feeling. Truth tells you that action creates the feeling you were waiting for. Comfort tells you to protect the image others have of you. Truth tells you to build a real self, even if that process is private and slow. Choose truth often enough and your life becomes stronger. Choose comfort too often and your life becomes smaller. There is also a deep emotional side to growth that many people ignore. Some people do not resist growth because they are lazy. They resist it because growth forces them to feel old pain. Change can wake up shame. It can expose regret. It can make a person realize how long they have been postponing their own healing. That is not easy. But pain that is faced becomes information. Pain that is avoided becomes control. The healthier path is to face it with patience. Ask what the pain is teaching. Ask what the wound has been shaping. Ask what needs to be accepted before it can be healed. The answer may not come at once. Still, the asking matters. You do not have to become a different person overnight. You have to become a more responsible version of the person you already are. Maybe that means answering your emails instead of letting them pile up. Maybe it means taking care of your body instead of waiting until pain becomes serious. Maybe it means stopping a pattern of talking about goals while never acting on them. Maybe it means putting your phone away during meals and listening to the people near you. Maybe it means waking up 20 minutes earlier so your mind has room to breathe. These are not small things. They are training grounds for a life that does not waste itself. A life of growth is often quieter than people expect. It is less about showing the world and more about changing what happens when no one is watching. It is the private promise kept to yourself. It is the silent discipline of continuing when nothing is cheering for you. It is the choice to read when others are numbing their minds. It is the choice to think when others are escaping. It is the choice to create value when others are simply passing time. Quiet growth is powerful because it builds a person who does not need constant applause. It is also important to understand that growth is not only about achievement. It is about becoming more alive inside your own life. Some people chase success but remain emotionally asleep. They collect results but do not build wisdom. They gain status but lose depth. That is not growth. Real growth makes a person more honest, more patient, more thoughtful, more useful to others, more stable under pressure, more aware of what matters, more respectful of time, more deliberate in action. Growth expands the soul as well as the schedule. One useful practice is to end each day with a short review. Ask what you did well. Ask where you were weak. Ask what could be improved tomorrow. Keep the review honest and brief. This simple habit prevents self-deception. It teaches humility. It also teaches progress. You begin to see that a bad day is not a lost life and a good day is not the end of the work. You become less dramatic and more steady. That is a mark of maturity. Maturity is the ability to keep learning without becoming harsh toward yourself. Another powerful practice is to choose one area of your life that needs order and give it attention for 30 days. It may be your sleep, it may be your finances, it may be your physical health, it may be your workspace, it may be your ability to keep promises. Do not try to fix everything at once. Focus builds power. A scattered mind becomes exhausted. A focused mind becomes effective. When one area improves, the rest of life often becomes easier to handle. Progress has a way of giving courage to other parts of the soul. Do not allow past mistakes to become a prison. Regret can teach you if you listen. It can also trap you if you keep replaying what cannot be changed. There is a difference between learning from the past and living inside it. Learn and move on. Correct and continue. That is the Stoic way. No useful person is built by endless self-punishment. They are built by disciplined reflection, followed by decisive action. You can acknowledge your mistakes without becoming your mistakes. Some days growth will look like doing the same good thing again. That matters more than it seems. Repetition turns intention into identity. The person who writes regularly becomes a writer. The person who walks daily becomes someone who values health. The person who keeps their promises becomes trustworthy. Identity grows from repeated behavior. That means your small daily choices are never small for long. They are teaching the world and your own mind who you are becoming. If your life has felt stagnant, then this is the moment to remember that stagnation is not destiny. It is a condition, and conditions can change. You can change your mornings. You can change your habits. You can change your standards. You can change your language. You can change the way you use your time. You can change the circle of influence around you. You can change what you read and what you watch. You can change what you tolerate. You can change what you no longer excuse. That does not mean change is easy. It means change is possible. Possibility is enough to begin. Some people wait for a crisis before they wake up. They need pain to become serious. That is one way to live, but it is a costly one. A wiser person learns before collapse. A wiser person does not need to break completely before seeking strength. This is the heart of choosing growth every day. Do not wait for humiliation to teach what discipline could have taught earlier. Do not wait for loss to teach what attention could have taught earlier. Do not wait for exhaustion to teach what structure could have taught earlier. Learn while you still have time to choose. When you choose growth daily, you start to respect your own future. That respect changes everything. You stop treating tomorrow as a vague idea. You begin treating it as a place your current actions are shaping. You ask better questions. What kind of person do I want to become by the end of this year? What habits would support that person? What habits are blocking that person? What must be removed? What must be strengthened? These questions create direction. Direction creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates more action. That is how a life improves in a real way. There will be days when you feel weak. There will be days when the old habits call to you with a familiar voice. On those days, do not make dramatic speeches. Do not declare your future in large words, and then wait for a perfect mood. Simply return to the next right action. Drink water, stretch, pray, write, work, clean, study, rest properly, say no when needed. Tell the truth, keep going. A life is not changed by one perfect day. It is changed by a pattern of returning to what is right. The deeper reason to choose growth is that life becomes more meaningful when you become more willing to participate in it. Passive living keeps you on the edge of your own story. Growth brings you into the center. You stop being a spectator and become a builder. You stop watching your days pass and begin shaping them with intention. That feeling is not loud. It is stronger than loudness. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing that your time is being used well. There is no perfect age to begin. There is no ideal background required. There is no secret condition you must meet. Growth is available to anyone willing to be honest and consistent. If you are tired, then start with one better choice. If you are confused, then start with one clear action. If you are discouraged, then start with one small victory. If you have wasted time, then start now. Not later. Not when everything feels easier. Now is where your life can turn. A meaningful life does not come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things with care. It comes from answering the call of responsibility in ordinary moments. It comes from choosing discipline when no one forces it. It comes from refusing to let your soul go dull through neglect. It comes from remembering that you are not here only to exist. You are here to grow, to learn, to refine, to serve, to become stronger in mind and steadier in spirit. So choose growth today. Choose it in the way you speak. Choose it in the way you handle pressure. Choose it in the way you spend your hours. Choose it in the way you recover from failure. Choose it in the way you honor your body. Choose it in the way you train your mind. Choose it in the way you tell the truth to yourself. Refuse passive living, not with anger but with resolve. Do not wait for life to force your hand. Take your place in your own becoming. The days will keep coming. Time will keep moving. Some things will be beyond your control. But your effort remains yours. Your response remains yours. Your standards remain yours. Your growth remains yours. That is enough to build a life that is awake. That is enough to build a life that does not drift into emptiness. That is enough to build a life you can respect when you look back on it, live in a way that keeps your spirit alive. Stay awake to your own responsibility. Keep improving, keep correcting, keep learning, keep moving. Do not wait for the last chapter of life to discover that you were capable of more all along. Begin now. Choose growth every day. Refuse passive living. And let each new day prove that your life is still being built with purpose, honesty, and strength. Chapter 2. Build discipline through small actions that create lasting change. Discipline often sounds bigger than it really is. Many people imagine it belongs only to athletes, soldiers, business leaders, or people with unusual determination. They believe discipline requires endless willpower or a personality they simply do not have. That belief causes many lives to remain unchanged because it makes improvement feel too distant. The truth is much simpler. Discipline is not built through extraordinary moments. It grows through ordinary choices repeated with care. It is created in the quiet decisions that most people overlook. Every lasting change begins with a single action that is small enough to complete and meaningful enough to repeat. People often underestimate the influence of simple habits because the results are rarely immediate. A person drinks one glass of water instead of a sugary drink, and nothing dramatic happens that day. Another person reads 10 pages before bed instead of spending another hour scrolling through endless content. The next morning, both people look almost exactly the same. Because the reward is invisible, many assume the action has little value. Yet life is not shaped by one day. It is shaped by hundreds of ordinary days placed together. The smallest improvements become powerful because they continue long after excitement disappears. The human mind prefers quick rewards. It enjoys comfort now rather than progress later. This is why discipline feels difficult in the beginning. You are asking your mind to exchange immediate pleasure for a future benefit. That exchange becomes easier when you stop focusing on distant goals and begin respecting today's responsibilities. Instead of asking how to transform your entire life, ask how to improve the next hour. Instead of worrying about becoming successful years from now, focus on completing the task directly in front of you with full attention. A disciplined person does not spend every day feeling motivated. There are mornings when energy is low. There are afternoons when distractions seem stronger than purpose. There are evenings when rest appears more attractive than effort. What separates disciplined people is not the absence of these feelings. They simply refuse to let temporary emotions become permanent decisions. Feelings change constantly. Principles remain steady. When your actions follow principles instead of moods, your life becomes more dependable. One practical way to strengthen discipline is to reduce unnecessary choices. Every decision requires mental energy. If you spend the morning deciding when to wake up, what to wear, whether to exercise, or whether to begin your work, your attention becomes scattered before the day truly begins. Create routines that remove these questions. Wake up at the same time. Prepare what you need the night before. Decide in advance when you will read, exercise, or study. Simplicity protects your energy for the decisions that truly matter. Small promises are powerful because they teach your mind that your words have value. If you promise yourself 20 minutes of focused work, complete those 20 minutes. If you decide to take a daily walk, take it whether the distance is long or short. If you choose to write one page every evening, finish that page before sleeping. The size of the promise matters less than your willingness to honor it. Every promise you keep strengthens trust in yourself. Every promise you break without reason weakens that trust. Many people search for confidence before taking action. In reality, confidence often appears after repeated action. Imagine someone learning a new language. The first conversation feels awkward. The second is slightly easier. After months of steady practice, speaking becomes natural. Confidence was never the starting point. Consistent effort created it. The same pattern applies to every meaningful skill. Discipline produces ability, and ability produces confidence. It is important to make improvement realistic. Ambition without balance often creates frustration. A person decides to exercise 2 hours every day despite never exercising before. They plan to read several books every week despite rarely finishing one. They create impossible standards, fail to meet them, and conclude they lack discipline. The problem was never discipline. The problem was expecting dramatic change without building a stable foundation. Progress grows faster when you respect your current level instead of pretending you are already somewhere else. Begin where you are. If you can only exercise for 15 minutes, then exercise for 15 minutes with full commitment. If you can only study for 30 focused minutes, make those minutes count. Strength develops through consistency, not exaggeration. Your environment quietly shapes your behavior. If healthy food is easy to reach, eating well becomes easier. If books are within sight, reading becomes more likely. If distractions surround your workspace, concentration becomes harder. Rather than depending entirely on willpower, arrange your surroundings to support your goals. Remove what repeatedly steals your attention. Place reminders of your priorities where you will see them every day. Make good choices easier and harmful choices less convenient. Discipline also requires patience. Many people abandon good habits because results seem slow. They work consistently for a few weeks and expect dramatic transformation. When visible change does not arrive quickly, disappointment replaces determination. Nature teaches a different lesson. Growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible. A tree spends years strengthening its roots before reaching impressive heights. Human character develops in a similar way. Invisible improvements are preparing visible success. Comparison is another enemy of discipline. Looking constantly at someone else's achievements can create unnecessary discouragement. Every person begins from different circumstances. Different experiences create different timelines. Your responsibility is not to match another person's pace. Your responsibility is to become stronger than you were yesterday. Measuring your progress against your own past keeps your attention where it belongs. Discipline becomes easier when your actions connect with meaningful values. Cleaning your home is no longer just cleaning. It becomes respect for the place where you live. Exercising is no longer simply physical movement. It becomes gratitude for the body that carries you through life. Saving money is no longer only financial planning. It becomes preparation for future responsibilities. When actions carry deeper meaning, they become easier to repeat. One valuable habit is finishing what you begin. Many people enjoy starting because beginnings feel exciting. Finishing requires persistence after excitement fades. Whether reading a book, completing a project, organizing a room, or learning a skill, train yourself to finish. Completion strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. Over time, people will trust you more because they see consistency. More importantly, you will trust yourself. There will be setbacks. Some days you will miss your routine. Some plans will fail. Some goals will take longer than expected. These moments should never become reasons to quit. Missing one day is an event. Giving up completely is a decision. Return to your routine as quickly as possible. The speed of your recovery matters more than the mistake itself. Discipline also means accepting responsibility without searching for excuses. It is easy to blame weather, circumstances, difficult people, or lack of opportunity. While these challenges are real, they do not remove your ability to make constructive choices. Even during difficult seasons, there is usually one useful action available. Focus on that action instead of everything outside your control. Progress continues when attention stays on responsibility rather than complaint. The words you repeat to yourself influence your behavior. If you constantly describe yourself as lazy or undisciplined, your actions begin to match those labels. Replace those descriptions with honest but hopeful language. Instead of saying you lack discipline, remind yourself that discipline is something you are practicing. Instead of saying change is impossible, remind yourself that improvement is built one action at a time. The way you speak to yourself should encourage responsibility, not surrender. Protect your mornings, because they often determine the direction of the entire day. Waking with intention creates momentum. Spend the first moments preparing your mind instead of immediately filling it with noise. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Review your priorities. Read something that strengthens your thinking. Move your body. Begin the day by making one decision that supports your future. A strong beginning makes later choices easier. Evening routines matter just as much. Before sleeping, ask yourself a few honest questions. Did I use my time wisely today? Did I keep my promises? Where did I lose focus? What lesson should I carry into tomorrow? This simple reflection keeps your growth active. It prevents days from blending together without purpose. Discipline is closely connected to self-respect. Every time you complete a difficult task, despite discomfort, you send yourself a clear message. You prove that your future matters. You demonstrate that your goals deserve effort. That quiet confidence cannot be purchased or borrowed. It grows naturally from repeated acts of responsibility. There is also wisdom in protecting your energy. Not every invitation deserves acceptance. Not every argument deserves your attention. Not every opportunity fits your purpose. Disciplined people understand that saying no is often necessary for saying yes to what matters most. Every unnecessary commitment steals time from meaningful work. Keep your focus on improvement rather than perfection. Perfection creates fear because it leaves no room for mistakes. Improvement creates hope because every effort has value. A person who improves 1% every day will eventually travel farther than someone who waits for the perfect moment to begin. Remember that your future identity is being shaped right now. Every completed task strengthens reliability. Every honest conversation strengthens integrity. Every healthy decision strengthens resilience. Every moment of focused effort strengthens character. None of these actions seem extraordinary by themselves, yet together they build a person capable of handling greater responsibilities with calm confidence. Years from now, people may admire your achievements, but they will never fully see the countless ordinary moments that made those achievements possible. They will not see the mornings when you chose responsibility over comfort. They will not see the evenings when you continued working despite fatigue. They will not see the quiet decisions that nobody applauded. Those unnoticed moments are where discipline is truly formed. The greatest reward of discipline is not success, recognition, or achievement. Those things may come, and they may not. The greatest reward is becoming someone who can depend on themselves. When life becomes difficult, you know you will continue moving forward. When opportunities appear, you are prepared to receive them. When setbacks arrive, you recover without losing direction. That inner stability is one of the greatest strengths any person can possess. Build your life carefully, one decision at a time. Respect small actions because they shape lasting character. Complete today's responsibilities without waiting for perfect conditions. Stay patient when progress feels slow. Keep your promises, even when nobody is watching. Continue choosing what is right over what is easy. In time, these quiet acts will become your identity, and your identity will carry you farther than motivation ever could. Chapter 3. Face pain honestly and learn from every hard lesson. Pain is one of the few experiences every human being shares. It arrives without asking for permission. It does not care about age, education, wealth, or status. Every person will eventually face disappointment, loss, rejection, failure, uncertainty, or grief. The real difference between people is not whether pain enters their lives. The difference is what they do after it arrives. Some allow pain to become the end of their growth. Others allow it to become the beginning of a wiser life. The event may be similar, but the response creates completely different futures. Many people spend years trying to escape uncomfortable emotions. They distract themselves with endless entertainment, constant activity, or unhealthy habits because silence forces them to feel what they have been avoiding. Yet avoided pain rarely disappears. It simply waits. It influences decisions without being noticed. It changes relationships. It weakens confidence. It creates fear where courage once existed. Ignoring emotional wounds does not remove their influence. Healing begins only when you stop running and become willing to understand what is happening inside you. Honesty is the first step toward freedom. Honest people admit when they are hurt. They admit when they are confused. They admit when they made poor decisions. They admit when fear shaped their choices. This kind of honesty is not weakness. It is strength because it refuses to hide behind excuses. A person who tells the truth about their condition gives themselves the opportunity to improve it. Life often teaches lessons that no classroom can provide. Losing an opportunity teaches preparation. A broken friendship teaches the importance of trust and communication. Financial mistakes teach careful planning. Health problems remind us that our bodies deserve daily attention rather than occasional concern. Every hardship contains information if you turn to search for it instead of only wishing it had never happened. There is a natural desire to ask why painful events happen. Sometimes there are clear answers, sometimes there are none. Waiting for complete understanding can keep a person trapped in frustration for years. A better question is much more useful. Ask what this experience is teaching you. Ask what kind of person you need to become because of it. Ask which habits, beliefs, or decisions must change so that this struggle produces wisdom instead of bitterness. It is possible to experience pain without allowing it to define your identity. You may have failed, but you are not failure itself. You may have been rejected, but rejection is not your permanent value. You may have made serious mistakes, but mistakes are chapters of your story, not the title of your life. Separating your identity from your experiences gives you room to rebuild without carrying unnecessary shame. One of the greatest dangers during difficult seasons is believing that pain has no purpose. While no one should seek suffering, every challenge presents an opportunity to discover strengths that comfort could never reveal. Patience often grows during waiting. Compassion often deepens after personal hardship. Wisdom frequently develops through mistakes that forced careful reflection. Courage becomes meaningful only when fear is present. Without difficult moments, many valuable qualities remain undeveloped. Some people become angry with life because it failed to match their expectations. They believed success would arrive quickly. They assumed good intentions would prevent disappointment. They expected fairness in every situation. Reality often teaches otherwise. Accepting that life includes uncertainty does not make you pessimistic. It makes you prepared. Prepared people recover faster because they understand that difficulty is part of the human experience rather than proof that something has gone terribly wrong. Resilience grows through repeated recovery. Think about a child learning to walk. Falling is expected. Standing again is part of learning. Adults often forget this simple truth. They expect every attempt to succeed immediately. When failure appears, they become embarrassed instead of curious. Yet every skill follows the same pattern. Progress requires mistakes. Experience develops through correction. Confidence grows after persistence. Your emotional reactions deserve careful attention. Strong emotions often carry important messages. Anger may reveal violated values. Fear may expose areas where preparation is needed. Sadness may remind you of something deeply meaningful. Instead of judging every difficult emotion, observe it carefully. Ask yourself what it is trying to show you. Emotions become helpful guides when they are understood rather than blindly obeyed. There is wisdom in slowing down after painful experiences. Many people rush toward the next distraction because quiet reflection feels uncomfortable. Yet growth requires thoughtful examination. Write about what happened. Describe your decisions honestly. Consider what you overlooked. Identify what you would do differently next time. Reflection transforms experience into practical knowledge. Without reflection, painful events often repeat because their lessons remain unnoticed. Forgiveness is another difficult but necessary lesson. Forgiveness does not mean pretending harmful actions never happened. It does not require trusting someone who repeatedly causes harm. Forgiveness means refusing to let resentment control your future. Carrying anger for years often harms the person holding it more than the person who caused it. Releasing bitterness creates space for peace, clarity, and healthier decisions. It is equally important to forgive yourself when appropriate. Many people continue punishing themselves long after they have already learned from their mistakes. Healthy regret encourages change. Endless guilt prevents it. If you have accepted responsibility, corrected your behavior, and committed to doing better, allow yourself to move forward. Growth becomes impossible when every step is weighed down by yesterday's failures. Pain often changes relationships. Difficult seasons reveal who offers genuine support and who disappears when circumstances become inconvenient. While this realization may hurt, it also provides clarity. Value the people who remain honest, dependable, and kind during challenging times. Invest your energy in relationships built on trust rather than convenience. Hardship also reveals your own character. It shows how you respond under pressure. Do you become careless or thoughtful? Do you isolate yourself completely or seek healthy support? Do you complain endlessly or search for practical solutions? These moments provide valuable information about the habits that need strengthening. Physical discomfort can also become a teacher. Exercise challenges the body, but it develops endurance. Learning a new skill requires mental effort, but it expands your abilities. Saving money demands temporary sacrifice, but it creates long-term security. Not every form of discomfort should be avoided. Some discomfort represents healthy growth. Learning to distinguish harmful suffering from productive effort is an important life skill. Patience becomes especially valuable during recovery. Healing rarely follows a perfect schedule. Emotional wounds often improve gradually rather than all at once. Some days feel hopeful, others feel heavy. Do not mistake slow progress for failure. Continue caring for yourself even when improvement feels invisible. Quiet healing is still healing. One practical habit is keeping a personal record of lessons learned through difficult experiences. After every challenge, write down one truth you discovered about yourself or about life. Over months and years, this collection becomes evidence of your growth. Instead of remembering only the pain, you begin remembering the wisdom gained because you endured it. Avoid comparing your struggles with those of others. Every person's circumstances are unique. Some burdens are visible. Others remain hidden. Compassion becomes easier when you remember that everyone is carrying challenges you may never fully understand. This perspective encourages kindness instead of judgment. There is strength in asking for help when needed. Independence is valuable, but isolation is not. Wise people understand the difference. Speaking with a trusted friend, family member, mentor, or professional during difficult times is not an admission of weakness. It is an act of responsibility. Seeking guidance often shortens the distance between confusion and clarity. Your daily choices during painful seasons matter more than dramatic decisions. Continue eating nourishing food. Maintain healthy sleep whenever possible. Move your body regularly. Keep your living space organized. Stay connected with supportive people. Read words that strengthen your thinking. These ordinary habits create stability when emotions feel uncertain. They remind you that even during hardship, life continues moving forward. Pain also teaches gratitude in unexpected ways. After illness, simple health becomes precious. After loneliness, genuine friendship feels more valuable. After financial struggle, stability brings deeper appreciation. Experiences that once seemed ordinary begin to carry greater meaning. Gratitude born from hardship often lasts longer because it is rooted in lived experience rather than temporary emotion. Never assume that one difficult season determines the rest of your life. History is filled with people whose greatest contributions came after painful setbacks. Their suffering did not automatically make them stronger. Their willingness to learn, adapt, and continue moving forward did. The same opportunity exists for you. Every new day provides another chance to respond with greater wisdom than yesterday. Guard yourself against becoming bitter. Bitterness convinces people that every future experience will resemble their worst memories. It closes the heart to new opportunities and healthy relationships. Wisdom, by contrast, remains cautious without becoming hopeless. It learns from the past while still believing that better choices can create better outcomes. Remember that courage is often quiet. It appears when someone gets out of bed despite emotional exhaustion. It appears when a parent continues providing for their family during uncertain times. It appears when someone apologizes sincerely after recognizing their mistake. It appears when a person starts again after repeated disappointment. These moments may never receive public recognition, but they represent genuine strength. There will always be circumstances beyond your control. People may misunderstand your intentions. Unexpected losses may interrupt your plans. Life may present challenges you never expected. While you cannot command every event, you always retain the ability to shape your character. That inner freedom cannot be taken away unless you surrender it yourself. When painful memories return, do not immediately resist them. Observe them calmly. Notice how much you have already survived. Notice how your understanding has changed. Notice the abilities you now possess because you endured those experiences. Your past no longer exists to imprison you. It exists to remind you of the resilience you have already demonstrated. Growth after hardship requires intentional living. Choose healthier responses instead of automatic reactions. Replace blame with responsibility. Replace self-pity with steady effort. Replace endless questions about fairness with practical questions about improvement. These choices gradually transform suffering into wisdom that benefits not only your own life but also the lives of those around you. One day someone else will experience a struggle similar to yours. Your story may become the encouragement they desperately need. Your patience may calm their fear. Your experience may guide their next decision. Pain that has been understood with honesty often becomes a source of compassion rather than resentment. It allows you to support others with genuine understanding instead of empty advice. Never believe that your hardest days erased your potential. They simply introduced a different path toward becoming stronger. Every challenge carries an invitation to develop greater patience, deeper wisdom, clearer priorities, and stronger character. Accept that invitation with humility. Learn every lesson available. Carry the knowledge forward. Leave behind only the bitterness. Life will continue presenting moments that test your resolve. Meet each one with steady eyes and an open mind. Do not ask for an easier path. Become a wiser traveler. Face reality without denial. Accept responsibility without shame. Learn without resentment. Continue without fear. In doing so, every difficult season becomes more than something you survived. It becomes part of the solid foundation upon which the rest of your life is built. Chapter 4. Strengthen your mind by replacing fear with steady courage. Fear is one of the oldest companions of the human mind. It appears before important conversations, difficult decisions, uncertain opportunities, and unfamiliar situations. It whispers that the risk is too great, that failure will be unbearable, or that staying where you are is safer than taking a single step forward. Fear often sounds convincing because it speaks in the language of protection. It wants to keep you away from disappointment, embarrassment, rejection, and loss. Yet the same voice that protects you from temporary discomfort can also prevent you from experiencing the life you are capable of creating. A strong mind is not a mind without fear. Such a mind does not exist. Every thoughtful person experiences uncertainty. Every courageous individual has moments of doubt. The difference is found in what happens next. Some people allow fear to become the final authority over their decisions. Others acknowledge its presence, examine it carefully, and continue moving in the direction of their values. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing what is right, even while fear is still present. Many fears are created long before the situation itself appears. A person imagines every possible failure before taking the first action. They picture rejection before speaking. They expect criticism before sharing an idea. They assume defeat before making an honest attempt. Their imagination becomes more active than reality. As a result, they suffer twice. They suffer from imagined disasters before life has even presented a real challenge. The mind deserves careful training because it believes whatever you repeatedly feed it. If every day begins with negative thoughts, constant worry, and endless predictions of failure, those ideas slowly become familiar. Familiar thoughts become familiar emotions. Familiar emotions influence familiar actions. Over time, your habits begin reflecting the stories you repeatedly tell yourself. This is why mental discipline is just as important as physical discipline. Protecting your thinking protects your future. One of the most effective ways to weaken fear is to replace vague uncertainty with clear understanding. Fear often grows in situations where knowledge is missing. If you fear speaking in public, practice speaking in front of a small group. If you fear managing money, begin learning basic financial principles. If you fear starting a business, study people who have already walked that path. Information does not remove every challenge, but it often removes unnecessary confusion. A prepared mind stands more steadily than an uninformed one. There is also value in questioning your fears honestly. Ask yourself whether the danger is real or imagined. Ask whether you are responding to facts or assumptions. Many worries collapse under careful examination because they were built on possibilities rather than evidence. This simple habit teaches the mind to separate real caution from unnecessary anxiety. Steady courage develops through repeated exposure to manageable challenges. Imagine standing at the edge of cold water. The first step feels uncomfortable. After several moments, your body begins to adjust. Life works similarly. The first difficult conversation feels intimidating. The second becomes easier. The 10th feels natural because your mind has learned that discomfort is temporary. Confidence grows through experience, not avoidance. Every meaningful achievement requires entering unfamiliar territory. New careers require learning. Healthy relationships require vulnerability. Leadership requires responsibility. Personal growth requires change. If fear always determines your direction, your world becomes smaller every year. Familiar places begin feeling safe, but they also become limiting. A fulfilling life requires the willingness to explore beyond what is already comfortable. Your attention is one of your greatest resources. Fear constantly tries to direct it toward worst-case scenarios. Courage redirects attention toward present responsibilities. Instead of asking what terrible thing might happen next month, focus on what useful action can be completed today. This shift seems small, yet it changes your emotional state dramatically. Worry consumes energy without creating solutions. Responsible action creates progress one step at a time. Strong character is built through countless moments when nobody else knows a difficult decision was made. A student chooses to continue studying instead of giving up after receiving poor grades. A parent remains calm during stressful family situations. An employee admits a mistake rather than hiding it. A friend speaks honestly even when silence would be easier. These moments rarely receive applause, yet they shape the kind of person someone becomes. Fear often disguises itself as perfectionism. It tells people they should wait until they are fully prepared before beginning. They postpone writing until every idea feels complete. They delay applying for opportunities until every qualification has been mastered. They avoid meaningful conversations until they know the perfect words. Unfortunately, perfection rarely arrives before action. Growth takes place during the process, not before it begins. The ability to remain calm under pressure is another form of courage. Calmness does not mean ignoring serious situations. It means refusing to let panic make decisions on your behalf. During difficult moments, pause before reacting. Take a slow breath. Observe the facts carefully. Separate emotion from judgment. Respond with intention rather than impulse. This practice strengthens emotional stability over time. The people you spend time with influence your courage more than you may realize. Constant negativity slowly becomes familiar. Endless complaints make challenges appear larger than they truly are. Seek relationships with individuals who encourage responsibility, honesty, and steady improvement. Their example quietly strengthens your own thinking. Courage grows more naturally in environments where growth is expected rather than discouraged. Another important lesson is accepting that courage often includes uncertainty. Waiting until every question has been answered usually leads to endless delay. Life rarely provides complete guarantees. Careers change, markets shift, relationships evolve. Unexpected events interrupt careful plans. Wise people prepare as thoroughly as possible, then move forward despite incomplete certainty. They understand that experience often teaches what planning alone cannot. Your body also influences the strength of your mind. Exhaustion makes problems appear larger. Poor health reduces patience. Lack of sleep increases emotional reactivity. Caring for your physical well-being supports clearer thinking during stressful situations. Regular movement, nourishing food, sufficient rest, and healthy routines create a stronger foundation for mental resilience. The mind and body support one another in ways that should never be underestimated. Fear has a habit of exaggerating temporary discomfort into permanent disaster. A single failure becomes proof that success is impossible. One rejection becomes evidence that nobody will ever accept you. One mistake becomes a lifelong label. Challenge these conclusions immediately. Life is rarely decided by one event. Most achievements are built through repeated attempts, corrections, and continued effort after disappointment. One useful exercise is deliberately doing small things that make you slightly comfortable each day. Introduce yourself to someone new. Ask a thoughtful question during a meeting. Learn a skill that stretches your abilities. Take responsibility for a challenging task instead of avoiding it. Each completed challenge sends a message to your mind that you are capable of handling more than you previously believed. The opinions of others create unnecessary fear for many people. They worry about criticism before expressing their ideas. They avoid opportunities because someone may disagree. Remember that every worthwhile accomplishment attracts both support and criticism. Living according to other people's expectations creates constant anxiety because those expectations constantly change. Instead, allow your values to guide your decisions. Respect constructive feedback without surrendering your identity to public approval. There is quiet strength in accepting what cannot be controlled. Weather changes. Economies fluctuate. People make unexpected choices. Time continues moving forward. Wasting energy resisting these realities only increases frustration. Direct your effort toward what remains within your influence. Improve your skills. Keep your commitments. Manage your reactions. Protect your integrity. These areas remain available regardless of external circumstances. Self-respect grows every time you face a challenge instead of avoiding it. Even when results fall short of expectations, you gain something valuable. You gain evidence that you were willing to act despite uncertainty. That evidence strengthens future courage because your mind remembers previous victories over hesitation. Patience is essential during this process. Fear built over many years rarely disappears in a single week. Every repeated act of courage weakens old patterns while strengthening healthier ones. Small victories deserve recognition because they create momentum. A conversation you once avoided becomes easier. A responsibility that once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. Gradually, your definition of what is possible begins expanding. Guard yourself against constant mental noise. Endless news, unnecessary arguments, and continuous comparison often increase anxiety without improving wisdom. Create moments of silence each day. Sit quietly, reflect on your priorities, read thoughtful books, spend time in nature. Allow your mind opportunities to recover from constant stimulation. A peaceful mind sees situations more clearly than a distracted one. Gratitude also strengthens courage. Fear constantly focuses on what may be lost. Gratitude reminds you of what still remains. It shifts attention from scarcity toward possibility. Appreciate your abilities, your relationships, your opportunities to learn, and your chance to begin again. This perspective creates emotional balance during uncertain times. Do not mistake caution for cowardice. Careful planning is wise. Reckless action is unnecessary. Courage combines preparation with decisive action. It studies carefully, thinks clearly, and then moves forward when the time arrives. It does not wait endlessly for perfect certainty, because such certainty rarely exists. There will always be voices telling you that your goals are unrealistic, your efforts are unnecessary, or your dreams are too ambitious. Listen respectfully, but remember that other people speak from the limits of their own experiences. They cannot fully measure your determination, your willingness to learn, or the future opportunities that have not yet appeared. Build your decisions on thoughtful reflection rather than borrowed doubt. Each morning presents an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Before the demands of the day arrive, remind yourself of the kind of person you wish to become. Someone who responds thoughtfully rather than emotionally. Someone who values truth over comfort. Someone who chooses responsibility over excuses. Someone who remains steady when circumstances become difficult. Repeating these principles daily shapes your behavior more effectively than repeating empty affirmations. Every evening offers another opportunity for growth. Consider the moments when fear influenced your choices. Examine them without self-condemnation. Ask what you learned. Identify one action that would demonstrate greater courage tomorrow. Improvement begins when awareness is followed by deliberate practice. Remember that courage benefits more than your own life. Your calm example encourages family members during uncertain seasons. Your honesty creates trust within friendships. Your willingness to act inspires colleagues who are struggling with their own doubts. Personal courage quietly spreads because people notice consistent character even when few words are spoken. No one reaches the end of life feeling grateful for every opportunity they avoided. Regret often grows from actions never attempted rather than honest efforts that failed. Take thoughtful risks. Speak sincerely. Accept meaningful responsibilities. Continue learning even when progress feels slow. Every courageous decision expands your ability to meet future challenges with greater confidence. Your greatest battles will often take place within your own thinking. Win those battles patiently. Replace fearful assumptions with careful observation. Replace hesitation with responsible action. Replace self-doubt with steady preparation. Replace avoidance with consistent practice. Day after day, these choices reshape the way your mind responds to uncertainty. Strength is not measured by never feeling afraid. It is measured by remaining faithful to your principles when fear invites you to abandon them. The strongest minds are built gradually through ordinary moments of integrity, patience, and deliberate action. Continue choosing courage in those moments. Over time, you will discover that fear no longer controls the direction of your life. It becomes only one voice among many, while wisdom, character, and quiet confidence become the voices you choose to follow. Chapter 5. Protect your time by ending habits that drain energy. Time is the one resource that cannot be earned back after it is spent. Money can be replaced. Lost possessions can often be recovered. Skills can be learned at any stage of life. But every hour that passes becomes part of your history forever. This truth is easy to understand, yet many people live as though tomorrow will always provide another opportunity to begin. Days slip away through distractions, unnecessary obligations, and habits that quietly consume attention without adding real value. Years later, they wonder why their goals remain unfinished, and why they feel constantly tired despite accomplishing so little. The greatest threat to a meaningful life is not always dramatic failure. More often, it is quiet waste. It is the slow habit of giving away valuable hours without noticing what is being lost. Many people believe they are busy because their schedules are full, but being occupied is not the same as making progress. A calendar filled with activity does not guarantee a life filled with purpose. The question is not how many things demand your attention. The question is whether those things deserve it. Energy follows attention. Whatever receives your consistent focus begins shaping your emotions, your thoughts, and eventually your character. If your attention is scattered across endless interruptions, your mind becomes restless. If it is invested in meaningful work, thoughtful conversations, healthy routines, and worthwhile learning, your inner life becomes more stable. Every day you are making silent decisions about where your energy will go. Those decisions gradually become the direction of your future. Many habits steal energy because they appear harmless. Spending a few extra minutes on your phone feels insignificant until those minutes become hours. Constantly checking messages seems productive until you realize your concentration has been broken dozens of times. Complaining about circumstances may offer temporary relief, but it leaves your mind focused on problems rather than solutions. These habits rarely announce themselves as dangers. They simply become normal. What becomes normal eventually becomes powerful. Protecting your time begins with becoming aware of how you actually spend it. Memory is often inaccurate. People frequently believe they are working longer than they truly are, or resting less than they actually do. Spend a week observing your daily routine honestly. Notice how often you become distracted. Notice how much time disappears into activities you barely remember. Observe without judgment. The purpose is not to criticize yourself, but to see reality clearly. Clear vision always comes before meaningful change. One important lesson is learn the difference between rest and escape. Rest renews your strength. Escape postpones your responsibilities. Reading a thoughtful book, taking a peaceful walk, enjoying meaningful conversation, or getting enough sleep restores your energy. Endless entertainment used to avoid difficult tasks leaves you feeling emptier than before. Ask yourself whether your habits leave you stronger after they end or simply more distracted. The answer reveals whether they are serving your life or quietly weakening it. Many people underestimate the cost of constant mental clutter. A room filled with unnecessary objects makes it harder to think clearly. An overloaded schedule leaves little space for thoughtful decisions. Too many unfinished commitments create invisible pressure that follows you throughout the day. Simplicity is not about owning less for its own sake. It is about removing what prevents you from giving your full attention to what truly matters. Learning to say no is one of the greatest forms of self-respect. Every acceptance is also a rejection of something else. Agreeing to unnecessary obligations often means sacrificing time that could have been invested in family, learning, health, or meaningful work. Many people fear disappointing others, so they overcommit until exhaustion becomes their normal condition. Wisdom requires recognizing that protecting your priorities is not selfish. It is responsible. Distractions have become easier to access than at any other point in history. A single device offers endless opportunities to postpone important work. News updates, social media, videos, advertisements, and notifications compete for your attention every moment of the day. None of these things are necessarily harmful on their own. The danger appears when they become automatic habits rather than intentional choices. Every interruption asks your mind to start over. Repeated often enough, this weakens concentration and reduces the quality of your thinking. Deep focus has become a rare skill, yet it remains one of the most valuable abilities you can develop. Set aside periods during the day when your full attention belongs to one meaningful task. Silence unnecessary notifications. Place your phone out of reach. Close unrelated tabs on your computer. Give yourself permission to think without interruption. At first, your mind may resist. It has grown accustomed to constant stimulation. With practice, sustained attention becomes easier, and the quality of your work improves significantly. Protecting your energy also requires choosing your conversations carefully. Some discussions inspire thoughtful reflection and mutual understanding. Others consist entirely of gossip, unnecessary arguments, or repeated negativity. Every conversation leaves an emotional influence behind. Ask yourself whether the people you spend time with encourage growth or reinforce habits that keep you stagnant. Healthy relationships create clarity. Unhealthy interactions often create confusion and unnecessary stress. Your environment silently influences your daily choices. If your workspace is disorganized, beginning important tasks feels more difficult. If your home constantly reminds you of unfinished responsibilities, relaxation becomes harder. Spend time creating surroundings that support the person you want to become. Order in your environment often encourages order in your thinking. One overlooked habit that drains energy is postponing small responsibilities. An unpaid bill, an unanswered message, a neglected repair, or an unfinished task may seem insignificant alone. Together, they create constant background tension. Completing small responsibilities promptly frees mental space for larger goals. Every completed task reduces unnecessary weight from your mind. Guard your mornings with care. The first hour often determines the rhythm of everything that follows. Beginning the day with endless scrolling or immediate distractions places your attention under someone else's control before you have even considered your own priorities. Instead, begin with activities that strengthen your direction. Review your goals. Read something that expands your understanding. Move your body. Enjoy a quiet breakfast without rushing. These simple practices prepare your mind to approach the day intentionally rather than reactively. Evenings deserve equal attention. Many people end their days by consuming endless information that neither educates nor refreshes them. Sleep arrives with a restless mind, still carrying unnecessary noise. Develop an evening routine that allows your thoughts to settle. Reduce screen time before bed. Reflect on what you accomplished. Prepare for tomorrow. Allow your mind to enter rest gradually instead of collapsing from exhaustion. Another hidden source of wasted energy is indecision. Repeatedly delaying choices keeps your attention trapped in endless mental debate. Some decisions require careful thought, but many simply require action. Decide what book you will read next. Choose when you will exercise. Determine your priorities for tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. Clear decisions create momentum. Constant hesitation creates fatigue. It is also important to recognize that not every opportunity deserves your pursuit. Modern life often encourages people to chase every trend, every invitation, every possibility, and every new idea. This creates a scattered life with little depth. Meaningful progress usually requires saying yes to a few important commitments and allowing many lesser opportunities to pass by. Focus creates excellence. Constant switching rarely does. Take responsibility for your attention instead of blaming circumstances. It is easy to claim there is never enough time. In reality, most people have more control over their schedules than they initially believe. Small adjustments accumulate. Waking 30 minutes earlier, reducing unnecessary screen time, limiting unproductive conversations, or preparing meals in advance may create several additional hours every week. Over months and years, those hours become books read, skills developed, relationships strengthened, and goals completed. Protecting time also means protecting your emotional energy. Carrying unnecessary resentment, replaying old arguments, or worrying endlessly about situations beyond your influence leaves little strength for today's responsibilities. Learn to recognize when your mind is trapped in circles that produce no solutions. Gently redirect your attention toward actions that improve the present moment. The quality of your commitments matters more than their quantity. A person with 5 meaningful priorities often accomplishes far more than someone attempting 20 different projects without clear direction. Excellence rarely grows from constant busyness. It grows from consistent investment in what truly matters. Healthy boundaries are another essential form of wisdom. Some people expect immediate access to your time simply because technology makes constant communication possible. You are not required to answer every message instantly or solve every problem presented to you. Respect others with kindness, but also respect your own need for uninterrupted work, meaningful rest, and personal reflection. Learn to recognize the difference between urgency and importance. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention, but they are not always meaningful. Important tasks contribute to your long-term growth, relationships, health, and purpose. Many people spend entire days responding to urgent demands while neglecting what truly shapes their future. Make room for important work before urgent distractions consume every available hour. There is wisdom in doing fewer things with greater care. Rushing through responsibilities often creates mistakes that require additional time later. Slowing down enough to complete important work properly saves both energy and frustration. Careful attention produces lasting quality. Remember that every habit either returns energy to your life or quietly removes it. Nutritious meals support clear thinking. Physical movement increases vitality. Honest friendships strengthen emotional health. Reading thoughtful ideas expands your understanding. On the other hand, excessive worry, constant comparison, endless entertainment, and disorganized living slowly reduce your capacity to live with purpose. Choose habits that leave you stronger at the end of the day than you were at the beginning. There will always be demands competing for your attention. The world will continue offering distractions designed to keep your focus elsewhere. Your responsibility is not to eliminate every interruption, but to become wise enough to recognize which ones deserve your response. Every deliberate choice strengthens your ability to remain centered despite external noise. As the years pass, people rarely regret spending time on meaningful conversations with loved ones, learning valuable skills, caring for their health, or serving others with sincerity. More often, they regret the countless hours surrendered to activities that added little lasting value. Remember this whenever you are tempted to postpone what truly matters. A well-lived life is not built through perfect scheduling or endless productivity. It is built through thoughtful stewardship of each ordinary day. Value your mornings because they cannot be repeated. Respect your afternoons because they shape your progress. Treasure your evenings because they prepare tomorrow's strength. Every hour becomes part of the story you are writing through your choices. Protect your time with quiet determination. Guard your attention from habits that leave you distracted and exhausted. Remove routines that no longer serve your highest values. Fill the space they leave with purposeful action, genuine relationships, careful learning, and moments of peaceful reflection. In doing so, you will discover that your greatest resource was never simply the number of hours available to you. It was always your willingness to use those hours with intention, wisdom, and gratitude. Chapter 6. Practice gratitude daily and notice progress in simple moments. Gratitude is often misunderstood. Many people think it is simply saying thank you when something pleasant happens or expressing appreciation during special occasions. While those moments matter, true gratitude reaches much deeper. It is a way of seeing life with clear eyes instead of constantly measuring everything by what is missing. It is the quiet decision to recognize value even while challenges still exist. It does not deny hardship, disappointment, or unfinished goals. Instead, it reminds you that no difficult season can erase every good thing already present in your life. A person can possess great success and still feel empty because their attention is fixed only on what they have not yet achieved. Another person may have modest circumstances, but live with peace because they recognize the gifts already surrounding them. Gratitude is less about possessions and more about perception. Two people can stand in the same place and experience completely different realities, depending on what they choose to notice. The human mind naturally pays attention to problems. This tendency once helped people survive by identifying danger quickly. Today, however, that same instinct can become unbalanced. It causes many people to overlook everyday blessings because their thoughts remain occupied by future worries or past disappointments. Gratitude restores balance. It gently trains the mind to recognize that life contains more than difficulties alone. Begin by paying attention to ordinary experiences that often pass unnoticed. Notice the warmth of sunlight entering a room during the morning. Notice the comfort of clean clothes after a long day. Notice the taste of fresh food, the sound of birds outside, the smile of a family member, or the quiet satisfaction of completing an honest day's work. These moments may appear small, yet they are the foundation of a meaningful life. Happiness rarely arrives only through extraordinary events. More often, it grows through appreciation of simple experiences repeated every day. Many people postpone gratitude until everything improves. They tell themselves they will feel thankful after earning more money, reaching a certain goal, finding the perfect relationship, or solving every problem. Unfortunately, this habit creates endless dissatisfaction because every achievement quickly becomes normal. The mind immediately searches for the next destination. Gratitude teaches you to appreciate today's blessings without abandoning tomorrow's ambitions. You can continue striving for improvement while still valuing where you currently stand. Progress also deserves greater attention than many people give it. Human beings often notice failures immediately while overlooking quiet improvements that happen over time. Imagine someone learning a musical instrument. During the first weeks, every mistake feels obvious. Months later, they suddenly realize they can play songs that once seemed impossible. Improvement happened gradually, but it became visible only because they continued practicing. Life follows the same pattern in many areas. Take time to recognize the progress you have already made. Perhaps you are calmer during situations that once overwhelmed you. Maybe you recover from disappointment more quickly than before. Perhaps your relationships have become healthier because you communicate with greater patience. Maybe your financial habits have improved through careful planning. These changes deserve acknowledgement. Celebrating progress encourages continued effort. Comparison often steals gratitude. Looking constantly at someone else's achievements, possessions, or opportunities creates the illusion that your own life lacks value. Modern technology makes this temptation stronger than ever. People frequently compare their ordinary moments with carefully selected highlights from someone else's life. Such comparisons rarely produce wisdom. Instead, compare yourself with the person you were 1 year ago. Notice how your understanding has grown. Recognize the lessons you have learned. Appreciate the strength developed through experiences you once believed would defeat you. Gratitude also changes the way you experience difficult seasons. During hardship, it may seem impossible to find anything worth appreciating, yet even painful chapters often contain reasons for thankfulness. Supportive friends become more meaningful during illness. Family conversations become more precious after loss. Quiet evenings feel more valuable after busy periods of stress. Gratitude does not remove pain, but it prevents pain from becoming the only thing you see. One practical habit is ending each day by identifying several moments worth remembering. They do not need to be dramatic. Perhaps someone held a door open for you. Perhaps you finished an important task. Perhaps you enjoyed a peaceful meal without rushing. Perhaps you laughed with someone you care about. Recording these moments gradually changes your awareness. Instead of rushing through life, you begin noticing experiences that once disappeared unnoticed. There is also wisdom in expressing gratitude directly to other people. Too often appreciation remains unspoken because we assume others already know how much they matter. Tell your parents that you value their sacrifices. Thank a teacher whose guidance influenced your life. Let a friend know their loyalty has made difficult seasons easier. Express appreciation to coworkers who contribute faithfully each day. Genuine words spoken sincerely strengthen relationships and remind people that their efforts are seen. Gratitude also protects the heart from entitlement. Entitlement quietly convinces people that everything good should arrive without effort or appreciation. When expectations become unreasonable, satisfaction becomes increasingly difficult to experience. Gratitude restores humility. It reminds us that many blessings exist because of countless people whose work often goes unnoticed. Farmers grow food, builders create homes. Healthcare workers care for the sick. Teachers share knowledge. Family members offer support. Society functions because millions of ordinary people fulfill their responsibilities every day. Nature provides another valuable reminder. Spend time observing changing seasons, flowing rivers, open skies, growing trees, or gentle rain. These experiences encourage stillness in a world filled with constant noise. They remind us that life continues moving with quiet consistency, regardless of our personal worries. Time in nature often restores perspective because it shifts attention away from endless mental activity toward the simple beauty already surrounding us. Gratitude becomes even more meaningful when combined with generosity. Appreciating what you have naturally encourages sharing with others. This does not always require financial resources. You can offer encouragement to someone feeling discouraged. You can share knowledge with someone eager to learn. You can give your attention to a lonely neighbor. You can volunteer your time where help is needed. Gratitude grows stronger when it moves beyond personal reflection and becomes compassionate action. Your words influence your outlook more than you may realize. Some people develop habits of constant complaint. They criticize weather, traffic, work, other people, and countless minor inconveniences throughout the day. Eventually, this pattern becomes automatic. Their minds become trained to notice only what is wrong. Gratitude interrupts this habit by encouraging more balanced thinking. Acknowledge challenges honestly, but also recognize what continues to go well. Children often provide an important lesson in appreciation. They can become deeply interested in ordinary discoveries that adults frequently overlook. A colorful leaf, a simple game, or an unexpected conversation brings genuine excitement. As responsibilities increase with age, many people gradually lose this sense of wonder. Practicing gratitude helps recover the ability to notice beauty hidden within ordinary experiences. Another valuable exercise is remembering previous difficulties that have already passed. Think about worries that once seemed overwhelming, but eventually became manageable. Remember challenges that taught valuable lessons. Reflect on fears that never became reality. Looking back with honesty reveals how much strength has already been developed. This perspective increases confidence when facing present difficulties. Gratitude also encourages patience. Instead of demanding immediate results, you begin appreciating gradual improvement. A healthier lifestyle develops meal by meal. Trust grows conversation by conversation. Wisdom expands lesson by lesson. Character is shaped choice by choice. Recognizing these steady advances prevents unnecessary frustration and encourages persistence. Material possessions deserve thoughtful attention as well. Modern culture often encourages endless consumption by suggesting happiness lies just beyond the next purchase. Yet satisfaction built entirely upon acquiring more rarely lasts. Gratitude shifts focus toward caring well for what you already possess. Maintain your home with respect. Use your tools wisely. Appreciate your clothing, your books, your workspace, and the opportunities already available. Contentment often begins with proper stewardship rather than constant accumulation. There is great value in appreciating your own abilities without becoming arrogant. Be thankful for your capacity to learn, solve problems, create meaningful work, encourage others, and contribute to your community. These abilities may continue growing throughout life if you use them faithfully. Gratitude recognizes personal gifts while remembering they carry responsibility as well as opportunity. Forgiveness and gratitude often strengthen one another. Holding on to resentment narrows your attention until past wounds dominate every thought. Releasing bitterness creates room to notice present blessings again. This does not erase painful memories, but it prevents them from overshadowing every good experience still available. Health deserves daily appreciation regardless of current limitations. If you can walk, appreciate movement. If you can read, appreciate your eyesight. If you can think clearly, value your mind. Even when facing illness or physical challenges, there are often abilities that remain. Focusing only on what has been lost makes it difficult to recognize what continues supporting your daily life. Gratitude should also extend toward opportunities for growth. Every new day offers another chance to improve relationships, develop useful skills, correct previous mistakes, and serve others more effectively. Waking each morning is itself an opportunity many people overlook. Treat each day as something valuable entrusted to your care, rather than something automatically guaranteed. When disappointment arrives, gratitude provides stability. Instead of believing one setback has ruined everything, you remember the many blessings that remain untouched. One failure does not erase loving relationships. One difficult season does not eliminate future possibilities. One mistake does not remove your capacity to learn and begin again. Gratitude keeps temporary problems from becoming permanent conclusions. Develop the habit of slowing down enough to notice life as it unfolds. Drink your morning tea or coffee without rushing through it. Listen carefully when someone shares their thoughts. Observe the changing colors of the evening sky. Enjoy quiet moments without feeling the need to fill every silence. These experiences become richer when your attention is fully present. The greatest rewards often arrive quietly. Trust built over years. Friendships strengthened through loyalty. Skills developed through patient practice. Peace earned through honest living. These gifts cannot always be measured, yet they become some of life's most valuable treasures. Gratitude teaches you to recognize them before they are taken for granted. As the years pass, your memories will not consist only of major achievements. They will also include countless ordinary moments that seemed small while they were happening. A family meal, a meaningful conversation, a peaceful walk, a lesson learned after a mistake, a simple act of kindness. These moments become the fabric of a rich life, Choose to become someone who notices goodness without ignoring reality. Continue working toward meaningful goals while appreciating today's blessings. Celebrate quiet improvement instead of waiting only for dramatic success. Speak words of appreciation generously. Care well for what has already been placed in your hands. Welcome each day with open eyes and an attentive heart. In doing so, gratitude becomes more than a pleasant emotion. It becomes a steady way of living. It strengthens resilience during hardship, deepens joy during ordinary days, enriches relationships through sincere appreciation, and reminds you that a meaningful life is built not only through remarkable achievements, but also through recognizing the lasting value hidden within life's simplest moments. Chapter 7. Serve others well and grow through honest connection. A meaningful life is never built in complete isolation. Every person is shaped by the influence of others from the moment they enter the world. Someone teaches us to speak. Someone offers guidance when we make mistakes. Someone encourages us when confidence is low. Someone sacrifices their comfort so we can have better opportunities. Even the most independent individual depends on the work, kindness, and wisdom of countless people they may never meet. Recognizing this truth changes the way we see our place in the world. We stop asking only what life can give us and begin asking what we can contribute to the lives of others. Many people search for purpose by looking inward alone. They spend years trying to discover the perfect career, the ideal opportunity, or the one achievement that will finally make them feel fulfilled. While self-reflection has value, purpose often becomes clearer when attention extends beyond personal gain. Serving others does not mean ignoring your own needs or abandoning your goals. It means understanding that a fulfilling life grows stronger when your success creates value for someone else. Real service begins with attitude rather than position. You do not need wealth, influence, or public recognition to improve another person's day. A thoughtful conversation, careful listening, dependable work, or a sincere act of kindness can leave a lasting impression. Many lives change because someone took the time to notice another person's struggle instead of walking past it. Small actions carried out consistently often have greater influence than impressive gestures performed only once. One of the greatest gifts you can offer another person is your full attention. In a world filled with constant distractions, genuine listening has become increasingly rare. Many conversations are interrupted by phones, hurried schedules, or minds already preparing the next response before the other person has finished speaking. Honest listening requires patience. It asks you to set aside your own opinions long enough to understand another person's experience. This simple act communicates respect in a way that words alone cannot. People often carry burdens that remain invisible. A coworker may be facing family difficulties while continuing to perform their responsibilities. A neighbor may be experiencing loneliness despite appearing cheerful. A friend may be struggling with fear while trying to remain strong for everyone else. Because we rarely know the complete story of another person's life, kindness should become our default response rather than our occasional choice. Serving others also requires humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is remembering that your knowledge is never complete and your perspective is never the only one that matters. Humble people ask questions before offering conclusions. They remain willing to learn from individuals of every age, profession, and background. They understand that wisdom often appears in unexpected places. Honesty is the foundation of meaningful relationships. Without honesty, trust slowly disappears. Trust cannot survive where promises are repeatedly broken, where words are used carelessly, or where people hide behind false appearances. Speaking truthfully does not require harshness. Honest communication can be firm while remaining respectful. It can address difficult issues without damaging another person's dignity. Many people confuse honesty with saying everything they think. Wisdom teaches a different approach. Before speaking, ask whether your words are true, necessary, and helpful. Some thoughts serve no useful purpose when spoken aloud. Others deserve careful expression because they may shape another person's future. Responsible speech considers both accuracy and kindness. Strong relationships are built through reliability rather than occasional excitement. Being present when someone needs support creates deeper trust than making impressive promises that are never fulfilled. Arriving on time, keeping commitments, following through on responsibilities, and remembering important moments in another person's life communicate care more powerfully than dramatic declarations. Learning to encourage others is another valuable skill. Encouragement is not empty praise. It is recognizing genuine effort, acknowledging progress, and reminding people of strengths they may have forgotten during difficult seasons. A few sincere words spoken at the right moment can restore hope to someone questioning their ability to continue. Never underestimate the influence of thoughtful encouragement offered without expecting anything in return. Serving others also means respecting their dignity. Helping someone should never become an opportunity to display superiority. True generosity preserves another person's self-respect. It offers assistance quietly without seeking recognition or creating unnecessary embarrassment. The best acts of kindness often remain known only to those directly involved. Conflicts are unavoidable wherever people interact. Families experience disagreements. Friendships face misunderstandings. Workplaces encounter tension. The goal is not eliminating every conflict, but learning to respond with maturity. Instead of reacting immediately, pause long enough to understand the situation completely. Ask questions before making assumptions. Focus on solving the problem rather than proving yourself right. This approach strengthens relationships instead of damaging them. Patience becomes especially important when dealing with people whose personalities differ from your own. Some individuals make decisions quickly. Others require more time. Some communicate directly. Others express themselves more carefully. Accepting these differences creates room for healthier interactions. You do not need everyone to think exactly as you do in order to treat them with respect. There is also wisdom in recognizing the value of forgiveness within relationships. Everyone eventually disappoints someone they care about. Words spoken in frustration, misunderstandings, forgotten responsibilities, and imperfect decisions are part of being human. Forgiveness does not ignore harmful behavior or remove healthy boundaries. It simply prevents resentment from becoming stronger than the relationship itself when genuine change and reconciliation are possible. Serving others begins at home before extending into the wider world. The way you treat family members during ordinary days reveals much about your character. Speak respectfully even when conversations become difficult. Offer help without waiting to be asked every time. Express appreciation regularly instead of assuming loved ones already know how much they matter. Strong families are built through ordinary acts of care repeated over many years. Friendships also require intentional investment. Meaningful friendships rarely survive on convenience alone. Stay in contact. Remember birthdays and important milestones. Check on friends during challenging seasons, not only during celebrations. Be willing to listen without immediately trying to solve every problem. Sometimes people need understanding before they need advice. Your work provides another opportunity to serve others with excellence. Regardless of your profession, someone benefits from your effort. A teacher shapes future generations. A healthcare worker offers healing. A builder creates safe spaces. A driver transports people safely. A shopkeeper provides needed goods. Every honest occupation contributes to society when performed with integrity. Viewing work as service rather than mere obligation brings greater purpose to daily responsibilities. Generosity extends beyond money. Time, attention, knowledge, skills, and compassion are equally valuable resources. You may teach someone a practical ability that improves their future. You may mentor a younger colleague beginning their career. You may simply offer calm support during someone else's difficult day. These gifts often leave deeper impressions than material possessions alone. Avoid making every conversation about yourself. Genuine connection grows when curiosity replaces self-centeredness. Ask people about their experiences, hopes, challenges, and lessons learned. Listen carefully to their answers. People feel valued when they know they have truly been heard. It is equally important to choose relationships wisely. Serving others does not require remaining in situations where respect is repeatedly violated or harmful behavior continues without change. Healthy boundaries protect both your well-being and the quality of your relationships. Compassion can exist alongside wisdom. You can care about people while also recognizing when distance becomes necessary. Gratitude strengthens relationships because appreciation encourages continued kindness. Express thanks for everyday efforts that often go unnoticed. Thank the person who prepared your meal. Appreciate co-workers who support shared responsibilities. Acknowledge the sacrifices parents make for their children. Recognize friends who remain dependable during difficult times. Spoken appreciation strengthens human connection. Avoid judging people too quickly. First impressions rarely reveal the complete story. A quiet person may possess remarkable wisdom. Someone struggling today may have overcome tremendous hardship already. Another individual may appear confident while privately facing deep uncertainty. Giving people the benefit of thoughtful understanding creates opportunities for meaningful relationships. Another essential quality is keeping private matters confidential. When someone trusts you with personal information, protect that trust carefully. Gossip weakens both relationships and character. People feel safe around individuals who speak honestly without spreading unnecessary stories about others. Serving others also develops your own character. Patience increases when caring for children or elderly family members. Compassion deepens after helping someone through loss. Leadership grows through guiding a team responsibly. Humility expands when working alongside people with different abilities and perspectives. Every meaningful relationship becomes a classroom for personal growth if approached with openness. Learn to apologize sincerely when you make mistakes. A genuine apology accepts responsibility without making excuses or shifting blame. It recognizes the impact of your actions and expresses a sincere commitment to improve. This simple act often restores damaged trust more effectively than lengthy explanations. Celebrate other people's success without allowing jealousy to take root. A friend's achievement does not reduce your opportunities. Another person's progress is not evidence of your failure. Learning to rejoice in the good fortune of others creates emotional freedom. It allows relationships to flourish without hidden competition. Acts of service often inspire further acts of kindness. One generous action encourages another. One patient conversation influences future interactions. One honest example quietly shapes the behavior of those watching. The positive influence you create may continue far beyond what you will ever witness. There will be moments when serving others feels inconvenient. You may be tired after a long day. Your schedule may already be full. Someone may ask for patience precisely when you feel least patient. These moments reveal the depth of your character because kindness offered only during comfortable circumstances requires little sacrifice. Real generosity often appears when helping others costs you time, effort, or personal comfort. Remember that every person desires respect, understanding, and acceptance. Regardless of background or achievement, people long to feel seen and valued. You possess the ability to offer that experience through your words, your actions, and your consistent presence. As life moves forward, accomplishments alone rarely define lasting fulfillment. Awards fade, possessions age, and public recognition eventually passes to someone else. The relationships you build, the people you encourage, the lives you improve, and the integrity with which you treat others leave a far deeper legacy. These are the things remembered long after titles and achievements have lost their importance. Choose each day to become someone whose presence brings calm rather than conflict, hope rather than discouragement, honesty rather than deception, and generosity rather than selfishness. Continue strengthening your ability to listen carefully, speak truthfully, forgive wisely, and serve faithfully. Through these simple yet powerful choices, you will discover that personal growth and meaningful connection are never separate paths. They move together, shaping a life that not only becomes stronger, but also helps others become stronger along the way. Chapter 8. Commit to lifelong learning and stay open to change. The moment a person believes there is nothing left to learn, their growth quietly begins to slow. Life never stops changing. New ideas appear, technology advances, communities evolve, relationships require new understanding, personal responsibilities shift as the years pass. A mind that refuses to learn eventually struggles to adapt, not because the world has become impossible, but because curiosity has been replaced by certainty. Lifelong learning is not simply the pursuit of knowledge. It is the willingness to remain teachable regardless of age, experience, or achievement. Many people associate learning with classrooms, examinations, and formal education. While these experiences are valuable, learning continues long after school ends. Every conversation offers insight. Every challenge reveals a lesson. Every mistake contains information that can improve future decisions. Every person you meet knows something you do not. The world becomes a continuous classroom when you approach it with attention and humility. One of the greatest strengths a person can develop is the ability to admit, "I do not know." These words require confidence rather than weakness. Pretending to understand everything closes the door to improvement. Honest curiosity opens it. When you admit there is more to discover, your mind becomes active again. Questions replace assumptions. Exploration replaces pride. Progress becomes possible because learning begins where certainty ends. The pace of change in modern life reminds us that yesterday's knowledge may not always solve today's problems. Skills that were once enough may require improvement. Methods that worked years ago may no longer produce the same results. This does not mean abandoning valuable principles. It means updating your understanding while remaining grounded in timeless values such as honesty, responsibility, patience, and integrity. Learning becomes meaningful when it is connected to action. Reading dozens of books without applying their lessons changes very little. Watching educational videos without practicing new skills produces limited results. Information alone does not transform character. Knowledge becomes wisdom only after it influences the way you think, speak, decide, and live. Begin by developing the habit of asking thoughtful questions. Why did this situation happen? What could I have handled better? What skill would improve my life right now? Who has already solved a problem similar to mine? Questions guide attention towards solutions. They encourage exploration instead of passive acceptance. A curious mind remains alive because it is constantly searching for deeper understanding. Books remain one of the greatest sources of lifelong learning. Within their pages are decades of experience gathered from people who devoted years to studying, building, failing, recovering, and succeeding. Reading allows you to learn from lives you may never personally encounter. Choose books that challenge your thinking, rather than only confirming what you already believe. Growth often begins when familiar ideas are respectfully questioned. Learning also happens through observation. Watch how dependable people manage their responsibilities. Notice how wise individuals remain calm during disagreement. Observe leaders who earn trust through consistency instead of authority alone. Pay attention to craftsmen who value quality over speed. Careful observation reveals lessons that cannot always be explained through words alone. Staying open to change requires releasing the belief that changing your mind is a sign of weakness. Sometimes new evidence deserves a new conclusion. Sometimes additional experience reveals that an earlier opinion was incomplete. Adjusting your perspective after gaining better understanding demonstrates maturity. Stubbornness may appear strong from the outside, but genuine strength includes the courage to grow beyond outdated thinking. There is an important difference between changing your values and improving your methods. Your commitment to honesty, compassion, discipline, and responsibility should remain steady. However, the ways you express those values may evolve. A teacher improves teaching methods while maintaining dedication to students. A parent adjusts communication as children grow older. A business owner adopts better strategies while continuing to serve customers with integrity. Adaptation strengthens purpose rather than weakening it. Failure often becomes an excellent teacher when approached with the right attitude. Every unsuccessful attempt reveals information about what did not work. Instead of asking whether failure should have happened, ask what it is trying to teach. Did preparation need improvement? Was patience lacking? Were assumptions inaccurate? Honest reflection transforms disappointment into practical education. Do not become discouraged by beginning as a beginner. Many adults avoid learning new skills because they dislike feeling inexperienced. They forget that every expert once struggled with simple tasks. Musicians once played incorrect notes. Writers once produced rough drafts. Skilled workers once made avoidable mistakes. Progress requires accepting temporary discomfort while your abilities develop. Seek opportunities to learn outside your usual interests. If you enjoy history, study psychology. If you work with numbers, explore literature. If your career focuses on technology, spend time learning about communication or philosophy. Diverse learning strengthens creative thinking because ideas from different fields often complement one another in unexpected ways. Conversations with thoughtful people provide another valuable form of education. Spend time with individuals who ask meaningful questions. Challenge your assumptions respectfully and encourage thoughtful discussion rather than endless argument. Healthy dialogue expands understanding because it exposes you to perspectives you may never have considered alone. Listening deserves equal importance. Too many conversations become competitions rather than opportunities for learning. People rush to speak before fully understanding the other person's point of view. Practice listening with genuine interest. Even when you disagree, seek first to understand the reasoning behind another person's perspective. This habit strengthens both wisdom and relationships. Keep a notebook dedicated to lessons learned. Write down important ideas from books, conversations, personal experiences, and observations. Record questions that deserve future exploration. Review these notes regularly. Writing slows your thinking enough to deepen understanding. It also creates a valuable record of your intellectual and personal growth over time. One obstacle to lifelong learning is the comfort of routine. Familiar habits create stability, but they can also reduce curiosity if never challenged. Occasionally change your routine intentionally. Visit new places. Try different forms of exercise. Learn basic phrases from another language. Cook unfamiliar recipes. Explore subjects outside your profession. These experiences remind your mind that growth continues through exploration. Patience remains essential throughout the learning process. Understanding develops gradually. Mastery requires repeated practice. There will be moments when progress feels slow or confusing. Resist the temptation to quit simply because improvement is not immediate. Every worthwhile skill demands consistent effort before confidence appears. Technology offers remarkable opportunities for learning when used wisely. Online courses, educational lectures, digital libraries, and research tools provide access to knowledge that previous generations could scarcely imagine. Use these resources intentionally rather than allowing endless entertainment to consume the same technology. Let your devices become instruments of growth instead of constant distraction. Protect yourself from intellectual pride. Knowledge should increase humility rather than arrogance. The more deeply you study any subject, the more clearly you recognize how much remains unknown. Humble learners remain approachable because they understand that no single person possesses complete understanding. Learning also involves unlearning. Some beliefs, habits, and assumptions no longer serve your growth. Perhaps you learned unhealthy communication patterns during childhood. Perhaps fear prevented you from pursuing opportunities. Perhaps limiting beliefs convinced you that change was impossible. Releasing outdated thinking creates space for healthier perspectives. Feedback plays an important role in improvement. Constructive criticism can feel uncomfortable, yet it often reveals blind spots impossible to notice alone. Seek advice from trustworthy people who genuinely desire your growth. Receive their observations with openness instead of immediate defensiveness. Not every opinion deserves acceptance, but thoughtful feedback deserves consideration. Teach what you learn whenever appropriate. Explaining ideas to others deepens your own understanding. Mentoring younger colleagues, helping family members develop new skills, or sharing useful knowledge within your community reinforces lessons through practical application. Education becomes stronger when it is passed forward. Remain curious about yourself as well. Notice patterns in your thinking, emotional responses, strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness is a lifelong study requiring honesty and patience. Ask which situations bring out your best qualities. Identify habits that repeatedly create unnecessary difficulties. Understanding yourself allows more intentional growth. Aim should never become an excuse for intellectual stagnation. Every stage of life offers unique opportunities to learn. Young people often possess energy and fresh perspectives. Older individuals frequently carry valuable experience and deeper judgment. Each generation benefits by learning from the other rather than assuming superiority. Travel, when possible, broadens understanding by exposing you to different cultures, traditions, and ways of living. If travel is not available, books, documentaries, and conversations with people from diverse backgrounds can accomplish similar goals. Exposure to different experiences reduces narrow thinking and encourages greater compassion. Curiosity also strengthens resilience. When faced with unexpected challenges, curious people ask how they can adapt, rather than immediately concluding that success is impossible. They view change as an invitation to learn, instead of merely a disruption to resist. This attitude creates flexibility during uncertain seasons. There is wisdom in reviewing your beliefs periodically. Ask whether your current habits still align with your values. Examine whether your goals reflect who you are becoming rather than who you once were. Growth requires occasional adjustment because life continues moving. Celebrate progress without becoming satisfied too soon. Completing one course, reading one book, or mastering one skill is not the end of learning. Each accomplishment opens the door to further exploration. Let success increase your curiosity rather than reducing it. Do not fear beginning again. Sometimes life requires starting a new career, rebuilding after loss, developing unfamiliar abilities, or entering completely different environments. Starting over can feel intimidating, but it also creates opportunities for remarkable growth. Every new beginning reminds you that your capacity to learn remains alive. As your understanding deepens, allow it to shape your daily decisions. Knowledge that never influences behavior remains incomplete. Let new insights improve your conversations, strengthen your relationships, refine your work habits, and deepen your character. Wisdom becomes visible through consistent action. Remember that every day offers countless opportunities to learn if your mind remains open. A mistake teaches caution. A success teaches effective habits. A difficult conversation teaches communication. A peaceful afternoon teaches gratitude. A new responsibility teaches capability. Life constantly offers instruction to those willing to pay attention. The goal is not collecting endless information or impressing others with what you know. The true goal is becoming a wiser, kinder, more capable person whose growing understanding benefits both your own life and the lives of those around you. Knowledge should expand your usefulness, strengthen your judgment, and deepen your compassion. Continue asking questions even after finding many answers. Continue exploring even after gaining experience. Continue refining your thinking even after achieving success. Stay teachable through every season of life. Welcome change without abandoning your principles. Build your future on curiosity guided by wisdom. In doing so, your mind will remain active, your character will continue maturing, and your life will reflect the quiet strength of someone who never stopped learning. Chapter 9. Act with purpose each morning and finish with reflection. Every day begins long before your first major decision. The moment you open your eyes, your mind starts moving in a particular direction. Some people begin with confusion, rushing immediately into distractions without giving a single thought to what kind of day they want to create. Others begin with intention. They understand that the first moments after waking are not just another part of the day. They are the foundation upon which everything else is built. A purposeful morning does not guarantee a perfect day, but it greatly increases the chance that your actions will reflect your values instead of your impulses. Many people believe they need more time to improve their lives when what they truly need is greater intention with the time they already have. 24 hours are given equally to everyone. The difference lies in how those hours are used. One person drifts from one distraction to another until the day disappears. Another person begins with clear direction, makes thoughtful choices, and finishes the evening knowing their time was spent on what truly mattered. The same number of hours can produce entirely different results, depending on the mindset that guides them. Purpose is not something you discover only once in your lifetime. It is something you choose repeatedly through daily decisions. Every morning asks the same quiet question: what kind of person will you be today? The answer is not found in words but in actions. Your response appears in the way you speak to your family, the effort you bring to your work, the honesty you show during difficult situations, and the care you give to responsibilities that nobody else notices. A peaceful morning begins the night before. Staying awake without reason, filling your mind with endless noise, or postponing preparation until the last moment often creates unnecessary stress the following day. Simple evening habits can transform tomorrow's beginning. Lay out what you need. Review your schedule. Prepare your workspace. Allow yourself enough rest. These quiet actions reduce confusion and create space for calm thinking when a new day arrives. When you wake, avoid allowing the outside world to take control of your attention immediately. Many people reach for their phones before their minds are fully awake. Within minutes, they are carrying the worries, opinions, advertisements, and demands of countless other people. Their own priorities become buried beneath constant information. Protect the beginning of your day by giving yourself time to think before the world begins speaking to you. Spend a few moments in silence. Sit comfortably and allow your breathing to settle. There is no need for dramatic rituals or complicated routines. Simply become aware that another day has been placed in your hands. This quiet pause creates distance between automatic habits and intentional living. It reminds you that you have the ability to choose your response before circumstances begin shaping it for you. Ask yourself a few meaningful questions each morning. What deserves my full attention today? Which responsibility should receive my best effort? How can I act with honesty, patience, and integrity regardless of what happens? These questions guide your thinking toward purpose instead of reaction. They help you enter the day with clarity rather than uncertainty. Every day contains tasks that are important and tasks that merely appear urgent. Without careful attention, urgent demands often consume all available time, while meaningful work remains unfinished. Decide early what truly matters. Complete important responsibilities before allowing less valuable interruptions to fill your schedule. This simple practice creates steady progress over weeks, months, and years. Take care of your body early in the day whenever possible. Stretch your muscles. Walk outside if circumstances allow. Eat nourishing food that provides steady energy. Drink enough water. Physical well-being supports clear thinking, emotional balance, and sustained attention. Caring for your body is not an act of vanity. It is an investment in your ability to fulfill your responsibilities well. Words spoken during the morning often influence your mindset for hours afterward. Avoid beginning the day with complaints or unnecessary negativity. Speak with gratitude, encouragement, and calm determination. The language you choose quietly shapes the atmosphere around you. It also shapes the attitude with which you approach challenges throughout the day. Purpose grows stronger when your daily actions reflect your deepest values. If honesty matters, practice honesty even when small lies would be easier. If kindness matters, show patience during ordinary interactions. If responsibility matters, complete your commitments without waiting for someone to remind you. Values become real only when they influence behavior consistently. There will always be unexpected interruptions. Plans change, delays occur, people make mistakes, circumstances shift without warning. Acting with purpose does not require controlling every event. It requires remaining faithful to your principles, even when the day unfolds differently than expected. Flexibility combined with steady character creates resilience during uncertainty. Avoid measuring every day only by visible achievements. Some of your most valuable work may never receive public recognition. A thoughtful conversation with a struggling friend, time spent teaching a child, quiet preparation for future opportunities, careful planning that prevents future problems. These actions may not attract attention, yet they contribute greatly to a meaningful life. As the afternoon arrives, pause briefly before continuing your work. Ask yourself whether your attention has remained focused on what matters most. If distractions have taken over, gently return your mind to your priorities. This small adjustment prevents an entire day from drifting away because of a few unproductive hours. Throughout the day, treat each interaction as an opportunity to practice character. The cashier at a store, the colleague who asks for help, the stranger who needs directions, the family member waiting to be heard. These moments test patience, generosity, and respect in practical ways. Character is not built only through major decisions. It grows through hundreds of ordinary encounters handled with care. Protect your attention from constant mental overload. Give yourself short moments of quiet between demanding activities. Step outside for fresh air. Take a brief walk. Sit without unnecessary stimulation for a few minutes. These pauses restore clarity and reduce emotional exhaustion. A rested mind makes better decisions than one constantly pulled in every direction. Do not allow small disappointments to define the entire day. A difficult meeting, an unexpected expense, or a misunderstanding does not erase every opportunity that remains. Learn to reset your perspective. One unpleasant moment should never receive authority over all the hours that follow. Emotional balance grows stronger when you refuse to exaggerate temporary setbacks. As evening approaches, slow your pace instead of carrying unnecessary urgency into the end of the day. Complete what you reasonably can. Accept that some responsibilities will continue tomorrow. Constantly chasing unfinished work without rest gradually weakens both your energy and your judgment. Responsible effort includes knowing when to pause. Reflection is one of the most powerful habits a thoughtful person can develop. Without reflection, days pass quickly but leave little wisdom behind. Experience alone does not guarantee growth. Growth happens when experience is examined honestly. Set aside a few quiet minutes before sleep to review your day carefully. Ask yourself what went well today. Notice moments when you remained patient under pressure. Remember conversations handled with honesty. Recognize tasks completed with care. Acknowledge progress, however small it may seem. Appreciating what you did well builds confidence grounded in reality rather than pride. Then examine the areas that require improvement. Did you waste time arguing about unimportant matters? Did you speak too quickly without listening carefully? Did fear influence an important decision? Did frustration affect the way you treated someone? Face these questions with honesty but without harsh self-condemnation. Reflection should produce understanding, not discouragement. Write your observations in a journal if possible. Recording daily lessons creates a valuable history of your development. Over time, patterns become easier to recognize. You notice recurring strengths worth building upon, and recurring weaknesses deserving greater attention. Written reflection transforms scattered thoughts into practical guidance. Consider one lesson you want to carry into tomorrow. Keep it simple and specific. Perhaps you will practice greater patience during conversations. Perhaps you will protect your attention from unnecessary distractions. Perhaps you will complete an important task earlier in the day. Focusing on one meaningful improvement creates steady growth without becoming overwhelming. Reflection also provides an opportunity to release unnecessary burdens. Do not carry every disappointment into tomorrow. Learn from mistakes, accept responsibility where needed, and let the day come to a peaceful close. Holding on to every frustration only reduces your ability to begin the next morning with renewed clarity. Sleep becomes more restful when your conscience is clear. This does not mean you lived perfectly. It means you acted sincerely, corrected mistakes honestly, and remained committed to becoming better. A peaceful mind rests more deeply because it is not constantly defending excuses or avoiding truth. Remember that extraordinary lives are often built through ordinary days, lived with remarkable consistency. Grand achievements usually grow from thousands of mornings begun with purpose and thousands of evenings ended with thoughtful reflection. Success is rarely created in isolated moments of inspiration. It is developed through faithful attention to daily habits that quietly shape character over time. Every sunrise offers a fresh opportunity regardless of yesterday's results. If you succeeded yesterday, begin again with humility. If you struggled yesterday, begin again with hope. The new day does not ask you to carry unnecessary pride or unnecessary shame. It simply invites you to continue becoming the person you are capable of being. Do not rush through your mornings as though they are obstacles standing between you and the rest of life. They are part of life itself. Do not treat your evenings as moments only for exhaustion. They are opportunities for wisdom to take root. Both ends of the day deserve your attention because together they create the rhythm of intentional living. Imagine living this way not for 1 week or 1 month, but for many years. Each morning you rise with clear direction. Each evening you examine your actions honestly. Gradually your decisions become wiser. Your emotions become steadier. Your relationships become healthier. Your work gains greater quality. Your confidence grows because it rests upon lived experience rather than empty promises. This rhythm also protects you from drifting through life without awareness. Too many people reach the end of years wondering where the time went because they rarely pause to consider how they were living. Reflection prevents this quiet loss. It keeps your attention connected to your values, your goals, and your responsibilities. The true measure of a day is not how busy you appeared or how many tasks filled your schedule. It is whether your actions reflected the person you sincerely wish to become. Did you act with integrity? Did you use your abilities wisely? Did you bring value to the lives of others? Did you leave the day better than you found it? These questions reveal far more than any list of completed activities. Rise each morning ready to act with intention instead of habit. End each evening willing to learn instead of pretending perfection. Allow every sunrise to strengthen your commitment and every sunset to deepen your understanding. When purpose guides your mornings and reflection shapes your nights, each ordinary day becomes another meaningful step toward a life marked by wisdom, character, and enduring peace. Chapter 10. Become reliable through consistency, patience, and personal responsibility. At the end of a meaningful life, people are rarely remembered only for their intelligence, talent, or ambition. They are remembered because others knew they could be trusted. They kept their word. They accepted responsibility without searching for excuses. They remained steady when situations became difficult. They finished what they started. Their presence brought confidence because people knew they would do what they said they would do. Reliability may not attract constant attention, but it builds something far more valuable than temporary recognition. It builds lasting respect. The world is full of people with good intentions. Many dream about making a difference, improving their lives, or achieving meaningful goals. Yet good intentions alone create very little. Results appear when intentions are followed by consistent action. Every promise you make becomes an opportunity to strengthen or weaken your character. Keeping your commitments teaches both yourself and others that your words have weight. Failing to honor them repeatedly sends the opposite message. Over time, reliability becomes part of your identity because of the choices you make every ordinary day. Consistency is often less exciting than dramatic moments of success, yet it produces far greater results over the course of a lifetime. A person who saves a small amount of money every month builds financial stability more effectively than someone waiting for a sudden opportunity. A writer who produces one page every day eventually finishes books, while others continue planning without beginning. A parent who offers daily attention builds stronger relationships than someone relying only on occasional grand gestures. Quiet repetition creates lasting impact because it transforms effort into habit. Many people lose momentum because they depend too heavily on emotion. They work enthusiastically when excitement is present and stop completely when it disappears. This pattern creates an unstable life. Emotions naturally change from day to day. Some mornings begin with enthusiasm, others begin with tiredness or uncertainty. If your progress depends entirely on how you feel, your future becomes unpredictable. Reliability grows when your actions are guided by principles instead of temporary moods. One important lesson is learning to respect small responsibilities before seeking larger ones. People often desire greater opportunities while neglecting the duties already placed before them. Yet character is revealed in ordinary tasks: arriving on time, returning phone calls, paying bills when they are due, completing assignments carefully, maintaining your home, caring for your health. These responsibilities may seem simple, but together they reveal whether someone can be trusted with greater challenges. Patience plays an equally important role in becoming dependable. Modern culture often encourages immediate results. People expect instant progress, quick recognition, and rapid success. Real life usually follows a different pace. Valuable achievements require seasons of steady effort before visible rewards appear. Patience allows you to continue working faithfully even when progress seems slow. It reminds you that worthwhile goals deserve enough time to mature naturally. There is great strength in accepting personal responsibility. Responsible people do not spend their energy searching for someone else to blame whenever difficulties appear. They begin by asking what part of the situation belongs to them. They examine their decisions honestly. They admit mistakes without unnecessary delay. They focus on solutions rather than excuses. This mindset creates continuous improvement because every challenge becomes an opportunity to learn rather than merely a reason to complain. Excuses often sound reasonable in the moment. The weather was inconvenient. The schedule became busy. Other people made the task more difficult. While circumstances certainly influence life, they do not eliminate your ability to make constructive choices. Reliable people recognize obstacles without allowing those obstacles to define their response. They adjust their plans when necessary, but they remain committed to their responsibilities. Integrity becomes visible through consistency between words and actions. Saying you value honesty means little if dishonesty appears whenever truth becomes uncomfortable. Claiming to respect others carries little meaning if your behavior changes depending on who is watching. A dependable person behaves with similar character in public and in private because their principles do not depend upon an audience. Developing reliability also requires careful attention to details. Forgotten appointments, unfinished projects, and neglected responsibilities often result not from lack of ability but from lack of organization. Keep a written schedule. Record important commitments. Prepare for responsibilities before deadlines arrive. Simple systems reduce unnecessary stress and increase your ability to fulfill your obligations faithfully. One valuable habit is finishing today's responsibilities before creating unnecessary new ones. Many people enjoy beginning fresh projects because beginnings create excitement. Over time, they accumulate unfinished work that quietly drains mental energy. Completing existing commitments builds confidence because it demonstrates your ability to carry responsibilities through to completion. Relationships become stronger when reliability becomes part of your character. Family members feel secure knowing they can depend on your support. Friends trust your advice because your actions consistently match your words. Colleagues value your contributions because they know tasks will be completed carefully. Trust grows slowly through repeated dependability, but once established, it becomes one of life's greatest treasures. Another important lesson is learning to remain steady during difficult seasons. Reliability matters most when circumstances become challenging. It is relatively easy to remain committed when everything is going well. True character appears when disappointment, fatigue, uncertainty, or unexpected obstacles arrive. Continuing to fulfill your responsibilities during these moments strengthens both your reputation and your own self-respect. Avoid making promises simply to please people. It is far better to make fewer commitments and honor every one of them than to promise more than you can realistically accomplish. Thoughtful honesty protects relationships better than unrealistic enthusiasm followed by disappointment. Personal responsibility also includes caring for your own physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Neglecting your health eventually limits your ability to serve others effectively. Get sufficient rest. Eat nourishing meals. Exercise regularly. Create healthy boundaries that prevent constant exhaustion. Caring for yourself responsibly allows you to continue fulfilling your commitments over many years. Your financial habits reveal reliability as well. Spend thoughtfully. Save consistently. Avoid unnecessary debt whenever possible. Plan for future responsibilities rather than assuming everything will somehow work out. Financial responsibility creates greater freedom to help others and face unexpected challenges with confidence. There will be moments when your efforts seem unnoticed. Perhaps you continue working diligently while others receive greater recognition. Resist the temptation to become discouraged. Reliability is not built for applause. It is built because integrity matters whether anyone notices or not. Quiet excellence eventually earns respect, even if recognition arrives much later than expected. Learn to manage disappointment without abandoning your standards. A rejected application, an unsuccessful project, or an unexpected setback does not erase the value of faithful effort. Continue showing up with the same commitment you would display during successful seasons. Consistency across changing circumstances develops lasting resilience. Time reveals character more accurately than impressive first impressions. Anyone can appear disciplined for a short period. Maintaining honesty, patience, and responsibility over many years requires deeper commitment. Focus less on appearing dependable and more on becoming dependable through repeated action. Your reputation grows from countless ordinary interactions. Returning borrowed items promptly. Respecting other people's time. Admitting errors without shifting blame. Treating every person with courtesy regardless of status. Following through when help has been offered. These everyday behaviors gradually shape how others experience your presence. Reliable people also remain willing to improve. They do not become defensive whenever weaknesses are identified. Instead, they welcome constructive feedback because they value growth more than protecting their pride. Every correction becomes another opportunity to strengthen character. Patience with yourself is equally important. Becoming dependable is a lifelong process rather than a single decision. There will be days when you fall short of your own expectations. Learn from those moments without allowing discouragement to become permanent. Return to your principles. Correct your mistakes. Continue moving forward with renewed determination, Teach reliability through your example. Children observe how adults respond to commitments. Younger colleagues notice whether experienced workers keep their promises. Friends recognize whether your actions remain consistent during difficult times. Your example often influences others more deeply than your advice. Avoid measuring success only through visible accomplishments. Character often grows most during unseen moments. Preparing carefully when nobody is watching. Choosing honesty when deception would remain unnoticed. Completing responsibilities despite fatigue. Remaining patient during long periods without recognition. These moments quietly strengthen the foundation upon which lasting achievement is built. One helpful practice is conducting regular personal reviews. At the end of each week, ask yourself whether your actions reflected your values. Did you fulfill your commitments? Did you treat people respectfully? Did you use your time wisely? Did you avoid unnecessary excuses? Honest evaluation prevents gradual decline and encourages steady improvement. Reliability also creates inner peace. There is great freedom in knowing you handled your responsibilities with sincerity. A clear conscience allows restful sleep because you are not constantly avoiding unfinished obligations or broken promises. Peace grows naturally when your daily actions align with your deepest principles. Life will continue presenting situations beyond your control. Unexpected illnesses, economic changes, personal losses, and unforeseen obstacles may alter your plans. While these circumstances cannot always be prevented, your response remains within your influence. Continue acting with integrity regardless of external conditions. Character becomes strongest when it remains stable during uncertainty. As the years pass, opportunities often come to those who have quietly demonstrated dependability over time. Employers trust reliable workers with greater responsibility. Communities seek dependable leaders. Families rely upon individuals who consistently demonstrate wisdom and care. Trust opens doors that talent alone cannot. Never underestimate the influence of being someone others can count on. In a world where promises are often broken and commitments are easily abandoned, reliability stands out with quiet strength. People remember those who remained faithful during difficult moments. They remember those who arrived when help was needed. They remember those whose words carried genuine meaning because actions consistently supported them. Build your life carefully through daily faithfulness rather than occasional brilliance. Complete small tasks with the same integrity you would bring to larger responsibilities. Practice patience when progress feels slow. Accept responsibility before seeking recognition. Let consistency become your daily companion rather than your occasional visitor. One day, when you look back upon the path you have traveled, the greatest satisfaction will not come only from goals achieved or possessions acquired. It will come from knowing you became someone whose character remained steady through changing seasons. Someone who honored commitments even when they required sacrifice. Someone who accepted responsibility instead of avoiding it. Someone who grew stronger through patient persistence rather than quick shortcuts. This kind of life cannot be built in a single dramatic moment. It is created through countless ordinary days filled with honest decisions, careful effort, thoughtful correction, and unwavering commitment to doing what is right. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to strengthen that foundation. Every evening provides another chance to evaluate your progress. Continue walking this path with humility and determination. Become the person whose presence brings confidence because others know they can rely upon you. Let consistency shape your habits. Patience strengthen your endurance, and personal responsibility guide every important decision. When these qualities become part of your character, you will possess something far more valuable than temporary success. You will possess a life marked by trust, integrity, resilience, and lasting honor.